Okay, a mom came into clinic today and we did her 3 kids under 6, all 3 of their checkups at once, which is actually rather fun because the little ones see the big ones doing it, so they sit still. And we just have 3 kids on the exam table and check them all out, talk through all of their stuff. It's pretty efficient and fun. Gets a little wild and crazy sometimes. This mom said at the end of the visit, she said, "Hey, I've been watching your stuff online." And then I was like, "Oh, what did I say?" And she said, "I want to stop spanking." And it caught me off guard because people usually don't tell me those sorts of things. She said, "I want to stop. I know that I can do better and I don't want to spank anymore, but I don't know what to do when I make the threat and they don't do what I've asked them. I don't know how to stop the spanking." And so I took a minute and I came up, I said, first and foremost, like, good for you. You've said, I want to do something different. I want to change my parenting, and you're willing to do that first and foremost. Good for you. There's 3 C's that I typically teach people when we're trying to change something, especially when it comes to yelling or spanking or something along those lines. And the 3 C's are calm, consistent, and connect. And so calm looks like controlling yourself first, which usually for parents that are prone to yelling or losing their temper or spanking means not talking about the thing in the moment, but talking about it later, because it's hard to be calm when you're riled up, when you're amped up because they did something that you didn't like, you feel disrespected, all those sorts of things. And so typically that's, I'm pretty frustrated right now. We're going to talk about this later. You might say that out loud. You might just have that be your inner monologue, but something along those lines. Consistent is all about boundaries, and it's meaning what you say. Hey, if you guys don't stop doing that, we're going to put the ball away. Or, hey, if you keep fighting over what we watch, we're just going to turn the TV off and you can find something else to do. Hey, if you can't use the paint without painting on your sister's face, we're not going to paint anymore. Whatever it might be. If you can set a boundary, and then when that boundary is gone through, when they go through the boundary, then you say, oh, okay, well, that's what I said, and here's the boundary. If you're consistent, they learn, but it takes time. They learn this is where the boundaries are, and I can live happily and comfortably within the boundaries, but I cannot go outside the boundaries because I know that my parents are consistent with the boundaries that they put in place. So following through with our boundaries, which also means don't pick battles that you don't care to fight. Don't put restrictions or boundaries in place if it doesn't really matter to you, because then you're going to have to be consistent with what you said, and that's going to often be less fun for you as a parent. So only pick those important things to actually decide to put a boundary around. And then connection. This is probably the most important of the 3, is it's difficult in the moment when you're upset, when you're frustrated, to connect with your child. But that is the time when they need it the most, when they're amped up, when they're upset, when they're mad, when they just hit, whatever it might be. And so what you can do without like completely centering yourself is, I know. If you just say, I know you're upset. I know you're mad. I know your feelings were hurt. I know whatever it might be. And usually just saying, I know, instead of you're fine, or stop that, or whatever, or stop crying, or whatever. If you say, I know, then that usually dramatically changes the whole temperature of the situation. And they feel heard just for a moment. Even if they did something wrong, you say, I know you're mad. I know you're upset. And then you can move forward from there of, hey, I know you're upset, but we cannot hit. I know you're mad, but it's not okay to throw the remote control. I know that you're blank, and yet blank. And so if we can focus on calm, consistent, and connecting, then that's the way to actually replace spanking with authoritative parenting. That doesn't mean you have to be gentle. That doesn't mean you have to be permissive. In fact, I would encourage you to not be a permissive parent, because that is associated with just as difficult outcomes and challenges as they grow as being an authoritarian, do what I say or I'm going to spank you, or wait until your other parent gets home, whatever it might be. The happy medium between those two, where the real learning and the growth and the better outcomes are, is authoritative parenting, which comes from calm, consistent connection as our discipline strategy for teaching our child. And so hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And if you have questions, drop them in the comments. If you want more help, if you say, hey, this makes sense, but I want a little bit more help, I do have a yelling challenge where it's a guided way to learn strategies to replace yelling, to replace spanking, to replace losing your temper with new habits and new strategies for when you're upset and when you're frustrated and when you're having a meltdown or your child's having a meltdown. And so if you want, like, look below for the information on how to join my next cohort of parents that are going through my Yell Less challenge. It's really fun. It's, I mean, fun in terms of, like, it takes a little emotional work and a little bit of growth, but it's a cool format, at least. You get a daily text message with some homework, a little short video. It's very it fits well with busy parents. So if that's something that would be of interest to you, check it out below. Keep up the good work.